Shri Chaitanya Kripa Bharo Bhuvi Bhuvo Bharavantarako Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalako Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalako Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno Sadharma Samstapako Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno Lokanamitakharino Tribhuvani Manyo Sharanyakaro Lokanamitakharino Tribhuvani Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandina Mataliko Padaravinda Bhajana Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalako Vande Sanatano Raghujugo Shri Gauranga Gunanuvarnana Vido Shraddha Samruddhan Vito Shri Gauranga Gunanuvarnana Vido Shraddha Samruddhan Vito Papo tapani krintano tanubrutam Govinda ganamrute Tapani krintano tanubrutam Govinda ganamrute Anandam Buddhi Vardhanaika Nipuno Kaivalya Nistarako Anandam Buddhi Vardhanaika Nipuno Kaivalya Nistarako Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalako Tyaktva turnamasheshamandalapati Shrenim sadatu chavam Turnamasheshamandalapati Shrenim sadatu chavam Bhutva dina ganesho ko karunaya Kopina kanta shrito भूत्वा दीनगणेशको करुणया गोपीनकन्ताश्रितो गोपीबावरसामृताब्धिलहरी कल्लोलमग्नो मुहुर्बावरसामृताब्धिलहरी वन्दे रूपसनातनो रघुजुगो श्रीजीवगोपालको रूपसनातनो रघुजुगो श्रीजीवगोपालको कूजत् कोकिलहंस सारसगना कीर्णे मयूराकुले कूजत् कोकिलहंस सारसगना कीर्णे मयूराकुले नानारत्ननिबद्धमूलवितफा श्रीयुक्तवृन्दावने नानारत्ननिबद्धमूलवितफा श्रीयुक्तवृन्दावने राधा कृष्ण महर्निशं प्रभजदो जीवार्ददो यौमुदा वन्दे रूपसनातनो रघुजुगो श्रीजीवगोपालको संख्यापूर्वकनामगाननतिभिः कलवसानीकृतो निद्राहारविहारकादिविजितो चात्यन्तदीनो चयो राधा कृष्ण गुणा स्मृतेर्मधुरिमा नन्देन सम्मोहितो राधा कुण्डतटे कालिन्दतनया तीरे च वंशीवटे प्रेमोन्मादवशादशेषदशया ग्रस्तो प्रमत्तो सदा वशादशेषदशया ग्रस्तो प्रमत्तो सदा गायन्तौ च कदा हरेर्गुणवरम् भावाभिभूतो मुदा ौ च कदा हरेर्गुणवरम् भावाभिभूतो मुदा वन्दे रूपसनातनो रघुजुगो श्रीजीवगोपालको सनातनो हे राधे व्रज देवी के चललिते हे नंद सुनो कुतः हे व्रज देवी के चललिते हे नंद सुनो कुतः श्री गोवर्धन कल्पपादपतले कालिन्दिवन्ये कुतः पादपतले कालिन्दिवन्ये कुतः गोशान्ताविति सर्वतो व्रजपुरे केदैर्महाविह्वलो वन्दे रूपसनातनो रघुजुगो श्रीजीवगोपालको श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर स्थित श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस अवैचरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर स्थित श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती महाराज प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य शिलादास ठाकुर की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-भागवतम की और प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रये। Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, first canto, 13th chapter, entitled as Dhritarashtra quits home. So there is no purport for text 32. I just read shloka and translation. We will read 33. Tatra sanjayam asinam paprachudvignamanasaha gavalgane kvanastato vriddho hinascha netrayo. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj Yudhishthir, full of anxiety, turned to Sanjay, who was sitting there, and said, "O Sanjay, where is our uncle, who is old and blind?" So we will read text 33. You can repeat after me. Amba cha hataputra artha pitruvya kva gataha suhrut api mayi akrita pragne hatabandhu saha bharyaya asham samanaha shamalam gangayam dukkitaha apatat ambacha hata putrartha pitrivya kvagata surut api mayyakrita pragne hata bandhu sabharyaya asham samana shamalam gangayam dukkito patat ambacha hata putrartha pitrivya kvagata surut api mayyakrita pragne hata bandhu sabharyaya asham samana shamalam gangayam dukkito patat ambacha hata putrartha pitruvya kvagata suru api mayyakrita pragne hata bandhu sabharyaya asham samana shamalam gangayam dukkito pata. Please recite. Ambacha hata putrartha Gangayam dukkito pata ambacha hata putrartha pitruvya kvagata surut maya gata pragne asham samana samalam gangayam ambacha hata putrartha Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Amba, mother aunt, Cha and Hataputra, who had lost all her sons, Artha, in a sorry plight, Pitravya, Uncle Vidura, Kva, where, Gataha, gone, Suhrut, well-wisher, Api, whether, Mai, unto me, Akrita Pragne, ungrateful, Hatabandhu, one who has lost all his sons, Saha, Dhritarashtra, Bharyaya, with his wife, Asham Samanaha, in doubtful mind, Shamalam, offenses, Gangayam, in the Ganges water, Dukkita, in distressed mind, Upatat, fell down. Translation. Where is my well-wisher uncle Vidura and mother Gandhari, who is very afflicted due to all her sons' demise? My uncle Dhritarashtra was also very mortified due to the death of all his sons and grandsons. Undoubtedly, I am very ungrateful. Did he therefore take my offences very seriously and along with his wife drown himself in the Ganges? Purport. The Pandavas, especially Maharaja Yudhishthira and Arjun, anticipated the after effects of the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and therefore Arjuna declined to execute the fighting. The fight was executed by the will of the Lord, but the effects of family agreement, as they had thought of it before, had come to be true. Maharaja Yudhishthira was always conscious of the great plight of his uncle Dhritarashtra and aunt Gandhari. Therefore, he took all possible care of them in their old age and aggrieved conditions. When therefore he could not find his uncle and aunt in the palace, naturally his doubts arose, and he conjectured that they had gone down to the water of the Ganges. And he thought himself ungrateful because when the Pandavas were fatherless, Maharaj Dhritarashtra had given them all royal facilities to live, and in return he had killed all Dhritarashtra's sons in the battle of Kurukshetra. As a pious man, Maharaj Yudhishthira took into account all his unavoidable misdeeds, and he never thought of the misdeeds of his uncle and company. Dhritarashtra had suffered the effects of his own misdeeds by the will of the Lord, but Maharaj Yudhishthira was thinking only of his own unavoidable misdeeds. That's the nature of a good man and devotee of the Lord. A devotee never finds fault with others, but tries to find his own and thus rectify them as far as possible. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunadanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Cha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Tinamine Shri Vashabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Nama Madhuryojvala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murte Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Pasiddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralamba Rasambode Padambujayate Nama Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumeshtam Nirjesta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannadayate Nama Vansha Kalpatarubhyacha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Kutitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namah Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Jetam surato pangor mama manda matergati Matsarvasya padambojo radha madana mohano Divya drundaranya kalpadrumada Śrīmad ratnagara simhasanasto Śrīmad radha shila govinda devo Preshtali sevyamano smarami Śrīman rasa rasarambi vamshi vata tatasita Kashan venur svanir gopir gopinada sri suna Tapta kanchana gaurangi radhe vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu sute devi Nami hari priye Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. I seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas. Shri Radha Madhava ki, Shri Gaur ki, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra ki, Shri Prabhupada ki. So we are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 13th chapter, Dhritarashtra quits home. So here Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking Sanjaya that where is my uncle and where is my aunt? Have they gone to Ganges and drowned themselves in the Ganges because of my taking my offenses? So he was thinking that I have committed some offense to them. And before this verse, we were discussing yesterday the glories of Maharaj Yudhishthir, means divine quality of Maharaj Yudhishthir is mentioned. Ajata Shatru. Ajata Shatru means whose enemy is never born. Ajata Shatru means his enemy is never born. So Maharaj Yudhishthir, he took bath and he offered prayers, he offered sacrifices to the sun god, and he offered obeisances, grains, cows, gold to the brahmanas. Then he entered the palace, it's mentioned in translation, to pay respects to the elderly. Dhritarashtra. Suddenly he could not find his uncle and aunt. So Prabhupada says in purport that the devotee never finds fault with others. So I thought of discussing little bit on that because I don't know much about Mahabharata and all, Dhritarashtra or Gandhari. But so I was, many quotes we see in ISKCON, Prabhupada and his disciples. So one quote I was reading, the tendency to find faults, envy means one of the tendency to find fault. Tendency means, envy means one of the tendencies to find fault with others. A person may have thousands of divine qualities, but still I find that one, fault in him and I defame him. That is the nature of envy. We were attending Radheshyam Prabhu seminar few days back. So he was giving some opposite words for some words. Right? So he mentions opposite word of envy is abundant mentality. Abundant. Krishna's supply is unlimited. One of the abundant mentalities. So opposite word of envy is abundant mentality. We see in Chaitanya Charitamrut that there is one personality, his name is Ramachandra Puri. So Ramachandra Puri, what he used to do is, he used to इतना बुला के मतलब जबरदस्ती से खिलाते थे वैष्णवों को प्रसाद. To call and feed them. Take more, eat more. And after that he used to say, oh, I heard from others that Gaudiya Vaishnavas eat a lot, eat too much. So now I am personally seeing also. So like that he used to criticize, he used to feed and he used to criticize also. So that is his nature. And not only that, he started finding fault with even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. And he used to observe how people are eating, how much they are eating. He always used to look at, Radheshyam Prabhu is telling we should never look at the plates of other Vaishnavas when they are eating. We should look at our plate. We should look at our plate, how much. I had this habit. So I have also so much envy and lust, anger, greed. So really I found, too much. It is there in me also. So then I started thinking, okay, Krishna supplied so much rice. He's just taking 2 spoons. Suppose somebody, there will be competition where there is a good favorite item, right? Suppose if there is a mango juice, there will be only competition, right? There will be too much competition. I want more. Then those are means I feel okay. I used to feel like there was too much. It is giving more than one time or. But when after some days I started thinking by hearing lectures, Krishna supply is unlimited. Krishna can supply unlimited mango juice. He's just drinking 3-4 glasses of mango juice. Let him drink. So that kind of mentality I started cultivating in my life. Then I felt little relief. And one more thing that Prabhu was telling, Vrindavan consciousness means to see good qualities in others. To see good qualities in others. So then I started noting down in my mobile, like, of course this nature is there because when the mind is impure, nature of impure mind is that it finds faults. That's the nature of the impure mind. Nature of the mind is liking and disliking. When we dislike someone, in subconsciousness mind, there is a blasphemy. We hear blasphemies from subconsciousness mind starts criticizing. In the subconsciousness, when we dislike someone or dislike something, then subconsciousness mind start blaspheming. So that is the nature of the mind. So that's the scriptures as well. We should never hear mind. We should never. So this personality, Ramachandra Puri Khan, he went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he saw Gambhir, there were some ants are there. And there are ants and there must be some kheer or some sugar candy must have eaten. So he was criticizing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You are he's a sannyasi, he's eating too much. He's eating sweets. Sannyasi should not eat too much. So the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they go and complain to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that such and such person he started criticizing, he started doing like that. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu starts taking only 1/4 of Jagannatha Mahaprasad pot, which mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He reduced his 75% of his food is reduced. 1/4 only started. Half he started. And his followers also started crying, Arey, alas, such a sinful man this Ramachandra Puri Khan is. Because of him, Mahaprabhu reduced his diet. So they also started taking off. And after some days, again Ramachandra Puri Khan came to Mahaprabhu. I heard you started taking only off. Krishna says in Gita that we should not eat too much. We should not eat too less also. He cannot become a yogi who eats too much or too less. Who sleeps too much or too less. So he started preaching to the author of Bhagavad Gita only. So author of Bhagavad Gita is Krishna himself. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna. Then Mahaprabhu, he tolerates him actually. He doesn't say that I am Supreme Personality of Godhead. How can you instruct me? He himself says, I am ignorant boy. I am your disciple. Thanks for instructing me. He says all these things in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I am ignorant boy. He says. So he says like this and he offers obeisances also to Ramachandra Puri Khan. After that, the Ramachandra Puri Khan goes away. So like that, the nature of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he saw good in him, that he is coming and instructing. Then Mahaprabhu says, okay, for a sannyasi, so many rules and regulations are there to follow. He was telling his disciples. And after some days, Ramachandra Puri Khan goes away from Jagannath Puri. All the devotees, they feel so much burden is gone from their head, as if Bhumi has come from the top of their heads to the ground. They felt that much relief from after leaving of Ramachandra Puri Khan. So that is one of the, it's mentioned that when a jiva and material nature comes together, we should, some translation is, it says that we should not praise others and we should not, what it says exactly. Can you open Antyakanda of Ramachandra, 8th chapter? 78th verse. 78? Third, 8th, Antyakanda, 8th chapter, 78th. One should see that because of the meeting of material nature and the living entity, the universe is acting uniformly. Thus, one should neither praise nor criticize the characteristics or activities of others. So Ramachandra Puri Khan, he did not praise others. The second thing he broke. Most important thing, he neglects it by criticizing others. Nor criticize is mentioned, right? Nor criticize the characteristics or activities of others. And Ramachandra Puri, what he did? He did not praise others, but he started criticizing. And 81 he says, between the former rule and the later rule, the later is most important. Later is most important. And 82 it says, 81 it says, even where there are hundreds of good qualities, a critic does not consider, rather he attempts by some trick to point out a fault in those above. So demonic qualities it is, to find fault with others. It's not a good quality. Krishna that's why says in Gita, Apaishunam, 13th chapter, 13th, 16th, divine and demonic qualities. One should be aversion to fault finding. So he says in Gita that what is it means by fault finding again. Apaishuna means that one should not find fault with others or correct them unnecessarily. Of course, to call a thief is not fault finding, but to call an honest person a thief is very much offensive for one who is making advancement in spiritual life. There is one time in Boston, there is one devotee was living. His name is Peter. In Boston temple. So the temple devotee complained he wrote a letter to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, that there is one boy, he just sleeps in temple hall, he doesn't make any friendship with others, he keeps sometimes his eyes outside, he spreads his legs. So he was writing all these things in the letter. And I think some devotees are not liking him to stay in temple. They're thinking that we should send him out. Then Prabhupada replied in one line, why can't you just tolerate this devotee? It's very rare that a soul comes to practice Krishna consciousness. It's very rare. And later, that His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj went to Los Angeles. So the same person, same devotee is there in Los Angeles. His name is Kushakrut Prabhu. And I was hearing lecture, he translated 70 books of Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, like that, 70 books of Srila Prabhupada. He translated from Sanskrit to English languages, I think, right? English? Yeah. English languages. English, some other languages must be, Bengali also. So he never read in his childhood Bengali, Sanskrit, but he translated. The same devotees were thinking we should send him, but the same devotees helped Srila Prabhupada by translating 70 volumes like Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Bhagavatam, Geetavali, Kalyana Karpataru. There are so many Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's books. Gopal Champu also, he translated from Sanskrit to English. So there are 70 books, can you imagine? It's not so easy actually. So that's the mercy of very special mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So we cannot judge anyone by our own mentality or so we don't know who is going to do what seva and someone may do some big seva. So that is one pastime I had. And even in Maharaj Yudhishthira in Mahabharata also I was hearing one pastime. Like Duryodhana wanted to show his opulences to Pandavas when they were in exile. So Duryodhana also goes and he starts living at a place. He wanted to show opulences to Pandavas, and there is one Gandharva also living nearby. So Gandharva fights with Duryodhana. His name is Chitradhara or something. So then he defeats. Then Pandavas come to know that Duryodhana is defeated by Gandharva. They caught him. Then Bhima feels very happy. So then Yudhishthira says, no, we cannot kill him or something. Then he says, he is our brother. Although he must have done so many wrong things to us, but we should consider him as our brother. And he sends Arjuna and he rescues Duryodhana from, he defeats Gandharva. Arjuna defeats Gandharva and rescues Duryodhana. So that is one of the nature. Although Duryodhana and his father did so many wrong things, but still Yudhishthira Maharaj, you see, he kept Dhritarashtra after his sons left, he kept in his home and he was taking care of them. That is one of the natures of Raja. Raja's duty is to give shelter to even old, right? Old. They have to be taken care. That is the nature of a king. So Yudhishthira Maharaj following all these things. And Prabhupada, I was hearing, so devotee when he is kept into trouble, he sees two things. When he is defamed by or he was facing any trouble with others, opposite party, he sees two things. If he thinks himself two things. One is, I am facing this situation because of Ajnana. Ajnana of that person is ignorance of that person. That's how the devotee thinks. Like it's mentioned in Bible, Jesus says, forgive them for they not know, for they know not. Forgive them. Like they were crucifying, right? The own followers were crucifying Jesus. So Jesus says, forgive them for they know not. They don't know. They are in ignorance, ajnana. That is one thing devotee sees. The second thing, devotee thinks, it's my own purva janma karma phala. It's because of my own karma, previous life, I am suffering. One person asked Prabhupada, one disciple, that Prabhupada, what if someone is troubling us or I am facing trouble due to others? Somebody misbehaves with us. Then Prabhupada says, you should think that this person is an instrument of my own karma. This person is instrument of my own karma. We should think like that. So that these two things he was telling. And like we see, devotees never find fault with others. Prabhuji was giving example of honeybee and fly. If there is some dirt and if there is some flowers are growing in the dirt area, honeybee goes in the dirt area, but it collects fragrance, that nectar from flowers. The dirt is there around, but the flowers are also glowing in the dirt. But honeybee goes and collects the dust from, honey from flowers. The same fly goes now. Fly goes, but where fly takes shelter? Takes shelter on dirty things. Although there are so beautiful fragrant flowers, but the fly never gets attracted to that. Fly goes to where there is a filthy things. So here devotees are compared with honeybees. They only see good in others. Like one time Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj in Gaudiya Math, so there was one devotee, he is a cook. He is cooking for devotees. So his behavior is not that much proper. So many devotees were unhappy with him. So many devotees. They always, they were unhappy with him. They used to discuss also, he is such and such. Then Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati found one good quality in him. He found that this devotee keeps his clothes very neat and clean. He just meditate on that. He says that I am finding fault in others means I am filled with honeycombed falls. Something he says like that. Like his holiness Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj was telling. The example of needle and sieve. You know all sieve? There are some small, like in Abhishek time they they pour water and they do like this. So much water comes from small holes. That is called sieve. In civil engineering term, we call sieve. So we may be finding fault with others. So you have this quality, this fault in you. That means we have sieves of holes in our heart. We can understand. So the best way is to glorify. When I heard this lecture, then I started, thinking about good qualities of others. I felt very relief actually, even about non-devotees also. That's very good, no? Not finding fault with anyone, and that's the most peaceful life. I only have so many faults. I am only struggling to chant. I am only struggling to read. I am only struggling to practice Krishna consciousness. So that is we should look at our own faults. So this is something. And we see, like today's Srila Srivas Thakur, right? Srivas Thakur's disappearance day. So he is marginal potency of Krishna Chaitanya. Is one of the associates of Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to do Sankirtan in his home for hours and hours. We call it Sriva Sangan. Still that place is there in Mayapur. So one time Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whenever Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dances in ecstasy, when he comes of external consciousness, he sits in courtyard and devotees come and bathe him. Otherwise he goes to Ganges and take bath. So in Sriva Sangan, there is one servant, maid servant of Srivas Thakur. He has 4 brothers, Srivas Thakur has. Srivas, Sriram Pandit, Srinidhi and Sripati. Right? So they are 4 brothers and they have maid servants also. So one of the maid servant name is Dukhi. So one time she brought water from Ganges for Lord Chaitanya. And when Lord Chaitanya was dancing, she started crying. She started crying just by looking at Lord Chaitanya's ecstasy. Again and again she was going to Ganges and bringing so many water pots for bathing of the Lord Chaitanya. So like that she brought so many water pots. And Chaitanya asked one time, who is that lady who brings water? Who is that who brings water, he asked. Then Sriva says that her name is Dukhi. She brings every day water. Then Mahaprabhu says, we should never call her Dukhi, because anybody who rendered service to Krishna, they are never Dukhi, they are always Sukhi. So nobody should call her Dukhi from tomorrow onwards. Sukhi. So her name transforms to Sukhi. And another time, Lord Chaitanya was dancing in ecstasy. In the evening, Srivas Thakur's son, he leaves the body inside the house. Mahaprabhu was dancing in courtyard. Then all ladies starts crying. Then Srivas Thakur immediately goes inside. Then he pacifies them and he says, you should not disturb now. Lord Chaitanya is dancing. If you cry aloud, then Mahaprabhu's ecstasy will come to external consciousness, and his ecstasy for Krishna may be interrupted. Then he comes out and he continuously dances with Lord Chaitanya. Then slowly that information spreads everywhere, and Lord Chaitanya also comes to know. Then he says, I am feeling today little disturbed. I am not feeling happy. So why is it? Then devotee starts telling that Srivas Pandit's son left his body. Then why didn't you tell me? Mahaprabhu asked to Srivas, why didn't you tell me this? Then Srivas, if I tell, then your ecstatic loving symptoms for Krishna may interrupted. That's why I did not want to disturb you. That's why I did not tell anything. Then Mahaprabhu goes, he cries a lot by seeing such a devotion of Srivas Thakur to him. Then he goes inside and he says to the child, dead child, oh child, why are you leaving Srivas Pandit's house? Get up. He says something like that. Then the soul immediately starts speaking through the dead body. Now my turn. One is destined to live in the body as long as one is destined to live. After that, according to one's fruitive activities, karma and all, one is forced to live. And so many births I was taking and dying, but this life is my great fortune that in the house of a devotee, or in the association of all you, I left my body. And he says like that and he fell silent. Then everybody feels happy after that. Everybody becomes ecstatic. Then Mahaprabhu personally takes Srivas Pandit's son in his laps and he goes to Ganges, and there they do final rites. So that's very, glorious family of Srivas Thakur. So I just wanted to share all these things. If you have any, thank you so much. If you have any questions, comments, corrections, I can please. Yes,
this 78. One should see that because of the meeting of material nature and the living entity, the universe is acting uniformly. Thus, one should neither praise nor criticize the characteristic or activities of others. So, does it even apply to devotees? Because we see many devotees like they glorify like anything. If you see Amog Leela Prabhu's video, like he glorified like hundreds of mouths.
Hundreds of?
Like some devotees glorify with hundreds of mouths. Other devotees. So does this principle even apply to the devotees or it for the materialistic people?
I'm thinking it's for not, I don't know, like somebody can, it's for everyone. Why we should criticize others also?
No, praise. I'm telling praise.
Praise.
Like we have to.
We should see in Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Uttamadhikari. Suppose someone is very newly came and we say, oh Prabhu, you are very senior. I saw some devotee was telling other devotee, both are newly came, and other devotee is telling other devotee, Prabhu, you are very senior to me. Then that boy may think, oh, now I became senior. I came for a few months back. Now I am chanting Hare Krishna. Now I know Shikshashka. Now I became senior. Somebody may think like that. So that may lead to find fault with others, correct others unnecessarily. Like he was telling that we should think always I am just join new bhakta. Every 6 months we should join. So we should not praise. Why we should praise unnecessarily? We can praise in a genuine way, like somebody is nicely worshipping the deities, nicely decorating the deities. We can worship, Prabhu, you decorated very nicely. That's not wrong. You decorate nicely only. So that's the genuine glorification. When it comes to non-devotees, we don't need to glorify them. Neither praise nor criticize. Both are there.
But we see like many times devotees' qualities that they see some small quality, small good quality, and they will broaden it. I mean, some small quality, but they will sometimes exaggerate.
So that's the nature of the devotee. That's how he sees. He broadens.
So is it like according to this principle? Does it like it doesn't fit in this rule, right?
Can somebody else? Radha, Sachinandana, Prabhu, please. Please, you only, please. I don't know.
Who is speaking these verses?
I read in the middle. Paramananda Puri said.
Paramananda Puri. So in that 77 verse, we need to see the whole verses, what is the connection. But if you see that 77 verse, the two kinds of activities rejected in the revealed scriptures constitute his daily affairs. Daily affairs means eating, sleeping, these are all, taking baths, walking, these are all daily affairs. One need not glorify, so much how you are eating, how you are walking, how you are sleeping. That's daily affairs. Something special, something spiritual things are there. How he is doing his sadhana, which are not common things, which are extraordinary spiritual things. So those things we can glorify, how he is advancing in spiritual life. The daily affairs are related to the body, but some special things related to spiritual thing, that's related to the soul. I think that we should glorify the devotees. The daily affairs are related to the body, no? Eating, sleeping, these are related to the body.
Thank you, Raj.
So, shall I stop?
No, you can continue.
So, for a common man, daily things are these only. But those who are trying to come out of this material world, sadhakas, for him, he has to do something extraordinary. He has to get up for Lord Krishna, attend Mangalarti, chant. These are something extraordinary things. So in spiritual life, we have to glorify. That's how we get inspiration, others get inspiration to come to practice spiritual life. So they are also daily things, but for a sadhaka, spiritualist it is. So those things we should glorify. Daily affairs related to the body, no need to glorify. Oh, you eat so less, you are so great, you sleep so less. I mean, if it is something for Krishna, that's a different thing. But always spiritual things we should glorify. Material things we need not glorify. Oh, your clothes are so nice, your specs are so nice, your smile is so nice. So these are something mundane. But something, something related to spiritual things, how you are so much attached to, you are so much very dedicated to chant, very dedicated to hear Bhagavatam, read Bhagavatam, hear Bhagavatam, preach, follow the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. These are something beyond daily act, beyond common activities. These are spiritual things. So these things we should certainly glorify and get inspiration. Hare Krishna. Others also can comment.
Some question.
Can you open Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 11th canto, 28th chapter 1, verse 1. Eleven 28:1. This is the same verse spoken by Supreme Person of Godhead to Uddhava, which we just now read. We can read the purport.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one should neither praise nor criticize the conditioned nature and activities of other persons. Rather, one should see this world as simply the combination of material nature and the enjoying souls, all based on the one absolute truth. Purport. Material situations and activities appear to be good, passionate or ignorant according to the interaction of the modes of nature. These modes are produced by the illusory potency of the Lord, which is itself not different from its master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So a devotee of the Lord remains aloof from the illusory temporary manifestations of material nature. At the same time, he accepts material nature as the potency of the Lord and thus essentially real. The example may be given that modeling clay is shaped by a child into various playful forms such as tigers, men or houses. The modeling clay is real, whereas the temporary shapes it assumes are illusory, not being actual tigers, men or houses. Similarly, the entire cosmic manifestation is modeling clay in the hands of the Supreme Lord, who acts through Maya to shape the glaring temporary forms of illusion which absorb the minds of those who are not devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Question or answer for question?
One who understands this purport, he will able to know that one should not praise or criticize anyone. If anybody wants to go back home, back to Godhead, we need to follow this.
Mother Kani Prabhu, yes. You were asking something? Achha.
Today's verse, can I ask?
Oh, please.
In the purport, it was mentioned that Dhritarashtra was taking care when the Pandu Maharaj died. Taking care of this all Pandavas. And Yudhishthira Maharaj thinking that he did so much, he took care so much, and in return we gave him the, what we can say, sorrow.
Huh? We gave him?
In return he gave that he killed all his sons. Yudhishthira Maharaj thinking like that. Is really Dhritarashtra took care of them, or it's a social pressure to take care of them?
They were under his control, but Vidura was taking care more nicely. Although they are just living in the palace, but nicely taken care by Vidura.
Generally we say that Dhritarashtra is attached to her throne. And if he is attached to her throne, why he need to take care of all these Pandavas? If you don't want to give them to kingdom, then he can just leave them, na? They can leave their own. Why he took care?
That's why in Gita is telling, my sons is telling. Although they are living there, he's telling, my sons. What did my sons do? He's not considering others as, although they are also staying there, but he's specifically mentioning Kauravas only as my sons. Then he's not thinking that Pandavas are his sons.
The answer of Prabhuji's question is there in the second verse of this chapter only.
Second verse of
This chapter, this.
11th canto.
Yes.
See, Bhagavatam is such a wonderful thing. We'll get answers from discussion.
Down. This one. From this paragraph. The words asatya abhinivesitaha, by absorption in the temporary or unreal, indicate that one should not adopt a concept of material duality and praise or criticize other materialistic persons. Rather, one should praise the pure devotees of the Supreme Lord and criticize the mentality of rebellion against the personality of Godhead, by which one becomes a non-devotee. One should not criticize a low-class materialist, thinking that a high-class materialist is nice.
Where it is?
Same
purport. 11:20. Nice. Thank you all very much for patiently hearing. Question? We can take?
Hare Krishna, very nice class you gave, Prabhuji, thank you. When Duryodhan was born, Vidura said, just kill him and bury him, dispose him off. Because knowing his bad qualities, looking at the omens. So Dhritarashtra didn't do that. That displays Vidura is so much particular about dharma. When it is dharma, even if it is your own son, you kill him. So in the case of Yudhishthira Maharaj also knows about Duryodhan. I mean, he is going to lead, his character is going to lead to a lot of disturbance. But still, when Gandharvas caught him and took him into Gandharva Loka, so Arjuna, Yudhishthira Maharaj specifically tells Arjuna and Bhim, go and fight with them, defeat them, bring our brother back. So it is very contrast in both of these devotees' dealings. So how we will reconcile both of them? Because both of them are Yamaraj only, they are Amshas of Yamaraj.
Somebody can answer, please. Sachinandu? I don't know anything. Never read Bhagavatam. Mahabharata, I never read. Somebody, Mother, can you please? You can only answer, Prabhu is telling, Prabhu.
They are doing maybe it is Krishna wanted them to do like that.
Grandhara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki Srila Prabhupada ki